Hello and welcome to T Money Talks. In this week's episode, T Money's going to talk about what it's been like living with metal in their foot since their accident. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. Hello, hello, hello. It is your host, T Money, on the mic, and I am ready to entertain you for the next 40 to 45 minutes. But if we're being honest, who's to say how long I will be talking? Because, no, I had this topic on my list, kind of after I told my friends about what I'm about to talk about for the next 40 to 45 minutes. I was going to say half hour, but I'm like that's a little longer than that, so I don't think that works. Anyways, yeah, I'm here to talk about my foot and what it's been like living with my metal in my foot, having to learning how to walk again. For those who don't know, back in 2020, I was in an accident that it was really bad. It was but I'm here. I'm walking. I had fractured my heel in two different places, so I ended up having to get a metal plate with 8 screws in my foot so I could walk without pain. Yeah, anyways, yeah, and that's kind of the cats. And the thing is, like, the whole metal part, like, I wasn't prepared for it. I knew I was getting surgery on my foot, that, like, that they had to, like, fix it, but I wasn't prepared for metal until, like, after I woke up, and then they were like, it was worse than we thought when we got in there, so we had to use more precaution. They had to use something more heavy duty for my foot. And so I woke up and I'm like, oh, you have metal in there now. And it's like, well, I'm Iron Man, that's so sick. So, at first I really liked the idea of having metal in my foot. Like, oh yeah, does that mean like every time I go through a metal detector it's gonna go off or something, I don't know. I just thought that'd be funny. Anyways, so yeah. So at first I was excited, but it's still then the whole idea of having to learn how to walk again and have to rebuild a relationship with this foot that I had known my whole life, It's like suddenly it no longer feels like my foot. So like I know I didn't say like a lot about how much getting surgery and having a metal plate in my foot has like kind of impacted me as like a person and as like who I am. And I'm like here and there, like I'll tell my friends and stuff, but like nothing really too intense or too long as what I'm about to do on this podcast here. Is I never really gone into in depth into like how this whole foot surgery and like this whole journey of like walking again and like building this relationship with my foot has impacted me, because like I said, it's like my whole life I grew up with these 2 feet. I knew them, I could trust them, like we had each other's backs. It's like those were my feet. Like I grew up with those. We'd been through so much with those my 2 feet, and then to have like my foot totally like, I don't want to say be destroyed because it wasn't destroyed. I mean, my heel was destroyed, but not my whole foot, So it's like just my heel was destroyed. And so like just that part. And then like, I think when, what am I trying to say here? The just, like, because my whole foot wasn't destroyed, but like it was the whole, I just wasn't prepared to have metal in my foot. Let's just start there. This one, although I do have a topic for this one, because of how I feel about it, it's going to be a little bit kind of all over the place as I talk about this my relationship with my metal foot. But anyways, yeah, because for starters, I wasn't prepared to have metal in my foot, so I think that kind of impacted me from the start, after waking up from the surgery and finding out, oh, you're made of metal now. I'm like, cool, sick, but also, wait, really? It was kind of like how I was feeling, because I've grown to be a very spiritual person now, like into spirituality, that is. So for me, having something foreign enter my body. I would have liked to have known ahead of time so I could have prepared my foot for this new object to come into my body, enter my body, and become a part of me, you know? So, like, I would have liked, if, you know, I would have liked to have known I was going to get metal, so I could have, like, done what, like, I don't want to say a ceremony or ritual, but kind of, you know, that's kind of like what I would have done, you know? I would have prepared my foot. I would have prepared my foot and myself and my body, my mind, my soul for this new foreign thing to enter me. So, not enter my bones, you know, like, and become part of me, so that when it does enter, it doesn't, like, throw a shock into my system, as into like, oh my god, there's this thing inside of my foot, and it's gonna help me so I could walk again. But at the same time, I don't know anything. You know, like, I don't know it. It's now it's like a new foot, and it's like, I know it's the same foot I've had my whole life, but she's thicker now. She's a little bit wider. She's, you know, like, although she's the same but different, and it's because of those differences that make that remind me of, like, oh yeah, that's right, you have metal in your foot. I'm still, like, getting used to that. I'm still trying to rebuild this trust, rebuild this relationship I have with my foot, because that was a big thing I learned in physical therapy, that I was rebuilding the trust I had with my foot, because for so long I couldn't use it, I couldn't trust it, I couldn't walk on it, I couldn't do anything with it until after the surgery, you know? So it was hard learning to walk again. So it was even harder having to, like, be okay with, or like, I guess be okay with would be the right words, of like allowing my body to allow this metal to enter my like body, you know, and my soul and my mind, and like just become one with like who I am and stuff. And although like I have learned to accept the metal within my foot as I grow every day, like I continue to do better things. I can walk barefooted. I can't jump yet, and I can't run yet. But my run is starting to look less and less funny, or less and less troll-like every day. Okay, so we are making progress. We are making progress with my foot each and every day. However, it's the little things that remind me of what happened, and just, you know, I think that's also what it is that I know how far I've progressed since my accident, and since the surgery, and since everything has happened. I know how far I've come, and I'm so proud of myself. But it's those little things that my foot does, whether it's like it gets extra swollen because it's hot outside, or I walked a little bit too much and so now I'm in pain and my foot is swollen, you know, or the reason why I wrote down this episode of this podcast is like, sometimes my foot will be so swollen that when I put my compression socks on, and I try to put my shoe on, it's tight. Like not like an uncomfortable tight, like that's tight, like type of tight, you know, where it's like, I'm afraid one of these days that I'm gonna try to, because it's both shoelace and a zipper. It's Doc Martens, you know, it's one of their sneaker brands. Anyways, it's so like, I'm afraid one of these days I'm gonna try to zip up the zipper and it's gonna break, or it's just not gonna go up altogether, and I will crack if that happens. And so like, that it was then when I told my friends that, when I finally like got that off of my chest, because that's something I had been holding in for so long now, that, you know, that like, because like everyone's so like, oh my god, like you're wearing shoes, you're walking, like everything, you know, like, and yeah, like of course I am like slowly getting back to my normal, but it's like there are still things that like not everyone knows that I'm still dealing with, and that's more so because like I don't say anything, but it's also more so because it's like, it's been a year and it's been a year and a half now, and so it's like I don't feel like I should keep constantly talking about this with like friends, you know? And it's like, not that I don't think that like I'll bother them or burden them with my stuff. It's just more so that like I'd rather not, you know? Because it's like, I'd rather work through it myself, and like, because it's like, I know at the end of the day that I'm gonna be okay, that I'm gonna be able to run again, that I'm gonna be able to jump, you know, that I'm going to be able to do all the things I once used to do. I'm just slowly slowly, very, very slowly, like extremely slowly getting there, but it's okay. It is okay because the point is I'm getting there. I am getting there. And yes, there are days where it's hard for me with my foot, you know, because there's times where I'll just look at my foot. I'll compare my 2 feet and I'm like, yeah, it's not the same foot it once was, you know, because it's like I said, like my foot's swollen a lot most of the time, whether it's from walking or it's just the heat, you know. I could do anything and my foot just swells up. And so like I'll look at my feet and be like, one's skinny and one's just a little thick. You know, and then so it's like looking at that and then having the shoe thing, because the thing with my shoes, and like you're probably wondering, well, it's like, why, if your shoes tight, just get a bigger size. The thing is, why do I have to get a bigger size if I'm already wearing compression socks? So my foot is already compressed within my compression sock, and then you're telling me I cannot fit it into my shoe? Like my foot now is being compressed even more, and still then it feels like it's gonna pop, you know? It's those things that make it hard for me to get past what happened. Not that I'm like still living in the trauma or anything. No, nothing like that. But I mean by that is like it's hard to not be reminded of what happened because of my foot. You know, so like these past 2 weeks or so, I've been icing my foot almost every day because I'm tired of it getting swollen. It's like I want it to look normal again. But the thing is, it's so hot out all the time that it's always going to be swollen no matter. And it's just like no matter how much walking I do and no matter how hot it is outside, my foot it's going to be swollen, you know? And that's the part that I don't like, because it's like I would just like the one thing I want out of all of this, like the one thing that would honestly stop me from like thinking about like, oh yeah, or not thinking about, being reminded of what happened, is if my foot would stop swelling up. If my foot would just go back to the normal size it once was, because that's the one thing, aside from the scar, that's aside from the point, my foot constantly swelling up is the one thing that is constantly there for me to be reminded of what happened. Now, of course, I do also have my scar on my foot as well, but I don't really look at my scar on my foot because I'm like, I don't want, well, maybe I guess that's another thing I would have to work through with myself, being able to look at my foot. Well, no, because like the thing is, I do look at my foot. I do look at my foot from time to time, and I look at the scar to see like how it's doing and stuff. And it's just hard, you know, because it's like those things that are always there to remind me of what happened. And it's like I want to move on. I don't want to forget what happened. I'm learning and I'm growing from what happened, but I would just, for the sake of my sanity, I think I would like for my foot to go back to to at least looking normal again, you know? I don't even have to be running or jumping. I would just like it to not be swollen anymore. That would be the greatest thing I could have, I think, for right now. To let me know that, you know what? You're doing it, kid. You are doing it. You're making strides. You're making moves. You're gonna climb up to the top of the ladder. That's what I need. Also, it is very hot in my room. Well, it's not too hot, but it's been like over 100 degrees this whole weekend. So my mom keeps the air at like 83 degrees. So like I guess it's cooler than being outside in like 104 degree weather. I give it that. I do wish it could be colder, but like it is what it is. I'll take what I can get. But yeah, so this heat may be distracting me on top of I feel like this should have been an episode I should have recorded in the moment when I was like when I was feeling as as I was having a low moment with my foot, you know, because that's the thing with this foot too, is like since the accidents, I've been having good days and bad days with my foot, because like some days it's like it's doing great. It makes me feel like things are normal again. It's like I could walk barefooted now. I could, you know, I could almost run, not like a troll. And so there's good days, but then there's the bad days when it's like I can't fit my foot in my shoe because my foot is too swollen, or then there's days where I can't stand in the shower because the way the floor is, it hurts my foot, my ankle, my heel too much, so then I gotta use a chair, or I have to have a cushion in the shower. So it's like those things that are there to constantly there to remind me, but it's like I'm trying not to see them in a negative way, or to like be reminded like, oh yeah, that's right, I'm still constantly trying to grow back to my normal day by day as we go. No, because that's not how I'm trying to look at them. I want to look at them, oh dear. I put my foot on the mic stand. I want to look, freaking dang nabbit. I hit the mic. Yeah, I hit the mic. Anyways, yeah, it's hard. It's been hard coping with my foot, because like I said, I'm building a whole new relationship with my semi-new foot. I'm made of metal now, so I'm indestructible. Once I get over this fear that my foot will give out on me, once I build the trust with my foot again, oh my goodness, I will be unstoppable. The world will not know what hit them when I finally have the trust in my foot again. I will be indestructible, because my answer to anything of anyone who tries to stop me is, I'm made of metal. I can do anything, and then proceed to do whatever thing it is I'm gonna do. So it's funny. It's funny because I know, thinking about it, in the long run, in the end, like, I am going to get back to where I was. I know I'm going to be able to run again. I know I'm going to be able to jump again. I know I'm going to trust my foot completely again. It's just, right now, it's only been a year and a half. And that's not even, it's just been a year and a half since my accident. That doesn't, I think it's been about a year since I started walking again, I believe. Yeah, I believe so. It's been about a year. Yeah, it's been a year since I started walking again, when I started physical therapy in the summertime. So I'm like, there are days where I'm like, I really shouldn't be talking about this, or I shouldn't really be having these issues. And it's like, but then I think back and I'm like, whoa. No, there. No. We're not gonna belittle any of your thoughts. We're not gonna not validate anything, because everything is valid. It's only been a year since I started walking again. It's only been a year. And within that year, I started driving again. I've been doing more things. I'm walking barefoot. I'm going up and down the stairs. I'm doing things I wasn't doing a year ago. And it's those moments, it's those things that I use to remind myself that, yeah, it's hard to cope with having metal in my foot, having to build this whole new relationship with my foot. But in the end, I'm doing it. I completely lost my train of thought. I don't even know if that's where I was going. It was going to be good. But then I just started thinking about how hot I was, and then I just couldn't finish it. And I didn't want to leave it just hanging, So I had to finish it with something. Anyways, yeah, like, it's been hard coping with my foot. It has. But it's okay, because there are a whole lot of good things that have been coming out of it. There are a whole lot of good things. So I think that's all I have to say about the relationship with my foot, because although lately I have been having to ice it, and it kind of sucks, because it reminds me of my days in physical therapy, because when I was doing physical therapy, I was constantly icing my foot, and yeah, my foot would still look swollen and stuff, and that was because I was learning how to do everything again. It's just, it makes me sometimes feel like I'm moving backwards instead of moving forward, and I have to change my mindset and look at it as, the more I ice my foot, the more my foot will go back to normal. The more my foot will stop making me feel like I can't put my shoe on, the more I ice my foot, the better my foot is going to look. And that's how I have to start looking at things, because I don't want this relationship of building trust with my foot to be hard anymore, because in the beginning it was very hard. It was very hard for me to trust my foot, because I was like, how do I know it's gonna back me up? How do I know it's gonna let me take these steps without my crutches? How do I know I'm gonna be able to walk with this cane? How do I know I was gonna be able to walk in shoes? That was like my constant question with my foot, was, how can I know it's going to keep me from falling? How do I know it's going to keep from breaking? That was the constant thing I had running through my head in physical therapy for like an entire year before I started saying, you know what? Why do I keep questioning if it has my back when I know it does? When I know very well that my foot is completely healed and that the metal and the screws that are in my bones are not going to break it. They are not going to give out on me. That they are going to withstand whatever I throw at them. Once I started slowly letting that go and stopped thinking about, oh my gosh, what if I can't do it, and just, who knows, and changed it into, let's see if I can do it, from, oh my god, I can't do it, to, so like just changing that mindset is the entire reason why I drove for the first time, is because having that mindset of stopping myself from trying anything new because I was afraid, to just letting things happen and just seeing what my foot is capable of. Because now I'm finally learning that the only way I'm going to have this relationship with my foot again is if I just continue to do my normal everyday life. I keep saying and talking about how I'm going to eventually reach my normal again, but as if like I'm going to one day wake up and be like, poof, it's here. It's like, no, now I have to start living my normal again in order to get back to living my normal life, if that makes any sense to you at all. It makes complete sense in my head, is because the only way I'm ever going to be able to go back to my normal life of doing all the crazy things that I once did is by pushing my foot every day, by slowly doing all those things that I once would before my accident, by trying to live my normal life again. That's the only way I'm going to build a real relationship with my foot. That's the only way I'm going to really be able to trust it again, because had I overthought me driving for the first time, I wouldn't have done it. I probably would have talked myself out of it. And so it took me to not think about it. It took me to be like, well, let's just see if I can't do it, For me to finally try something. For me to finally be like, okay, foot, I will trust you. I will trust you to show me what you got. And it was since then that after I drove, I was like, when we would go to the parks at Joshua Tree, I would start climbing some of the rocks. I wasn't as afraid to go up on high rocks because I was like, we'll see if I'm going to let my foot tell me or show me what it can and can't do, So I made it to the height of 1, and my foot made it. It was perfectly fine. The only thing that stopped me from going any higher was just my fear of heights. That my fear of heights and me I don't think I want to test my foot with being, in this park that you have no cell service in, because the last thing I need is me going higher and then me having a panic attack because I'm afraid of heights, and then now I don't know how to get back down from how high I climbed because I can't trust my foot to withstand me to go back down, and then so that was the last thing we needed on our Joshua Tree trip. So, so I didn't push it too much when I was climbing rocks and stuff, but I did I did trust my foot in that moment, I was like, I didn't think about, oh my god, how am I gonna get down, or oh my god, can my foot even handle this? It was just like, no, I gotta stop thinking like that. I honestly do. I gotta stop thinking negatively about my foot. I gotta stop thinking, oh, can my foot even do that? Or, oh, you're gonna get hurt, or, you don't know if you could do that yet. It's like, no, I need to see if I can. I need to start looking at it like, that's the only way I'm going to build this relationship with my foot. That's the only way I feel like I could really honestly cope with my foot in a more positive way, because I have been dealing with my foot has been very hard for me. It's not been a very easy time. It's not been an easy joyride on this journey of healing and walking and stuff. It's been really hard on me. It sucked. It has sucked dealing with all of this stuff, unpacking so many emotions, so many things, but honestly, the greatest thing that has come out of this is the fact that I'm healing, that I'm growing, that I'm flourishing. My high vibrations are rising. I am changing for the better, and gosh darn it, I will obtain I don't even my highest self. Yeah, like I'm going to thrive. I will be thriving very soon. I have many good things ahead of me, and now it's time for me to stop looking at my foot in a negative way and start the new journey of looking at my foot in a positive way. Because honestly, that's the only way I think that's the no I know that's the only way I could receive all the blessings that are meant to come my way, that will be coming my way, is for me to end this cycle of constant negativity with my foot, for me to end this to end this fear of my foot getting hurt, or my foot not being able to handle whatever it is I'm going to throw at them, and change it into a positive and being like, okay, and challenging my foot to where it's, okay, foot, let's see if you can handle this today, or okay, foot, we're going to do this, rather than, I don't know if I want to try this, but I don't know if I should, because of my foot. It's like, no, I need to stop. I need to challenge myself, my mind, my body, my soul, and my metal foot. I need to challenge it all, because the only way I'm going to be thriving, the only way I'm going to truly be thriving is when I finally accomplish having a beautiful relationship with my foot again. The only way I can accomplish everything that is meant to come my way once I turn 27 is if I completely and wholeheartedly trust my foot once again. Because that's the only way I'm going to be able to thrive, because how am I supposed to thrive if I can't even trust my foot to walk a mile without hurting? How am I supposed to trust myself that I could handle going back to work? I can't be going like, I don't know if I'm gonna handle it. It's like, no, let's see if my foot can rise to the challenge. It's because I walked a lot in Joshua Tree. Yes, it was a lot of sitting and standing, so that's why my foot was able to handle so much for those 4 or 5 days. Oh my god, I can't remember. Anyways, I'm too much in the moment. Anyways, yeah. So, that's why my foot was able to handle it. But I know that I should be able to handle that at an 8-hour shift as well, with the 2 10-minute breaks and the lunch, that I should be able to handle, because I could still sit and stand. And that's why I just gotta look at things from a positive view, because I'm so scared to go back to work, because I'm afraid my foot won't be able to do it. And I need to be thinking about my foot. Can my foot even rise to the challenge? Because I need money. I need to afford things, I need to get my next EP mixed and mastered, so that when I release it, it sounds amazing, so that EP can put me on the map, so that EP could start the ignition of the flame of truly growing my audience wider and expanding, getting even more people to listen to my music, because my EP is it's so good. That is all I have to say. Is my EP is so I cannot wait to release this EP, because it shows the amount of growth I have done since I've been releasing music. Yes, the song I wrote for my grandmother, In a Dream, has been the best I've shown since releasing stuff on Bandcamp. Now if you've heard that one sounds good. Now the EP, even better. Every track is just I'm too excited. So I need to trust my foot again, so that I could afford to work, so that I can afford to get my EP mixed and mastered, so that I could then start my journey of what I've meant to do. Because I just know, I feel it in my bones, I feel it in my soul, that this EP is going to change. This EP is going to change things. I don't want to say it's going to change my life, because we don't know that, but what I do feel in my bones and in my soul is that this EP is going to change things for me and my music. It is going to do a lot of good for me. I don't want to say it's going to put me on the map, but I do want to say it's going to do a lot of great things. I believe it's going to help expand my fan base drastically, not like viral or anything. Of course, by all means, if it happens, it happens. But absolutely, I do mean it's definitely a step up from everything since I won't be producing it, by mixing and mastering it myself. I will be having a professional do it for me, so I will have that more professional sound. And that alone, just having the more professional mix and mastered songs, is really what's going to help change, is really what's going to be the game changer for me in my music, you know, because that's what a lot of people who I have been like slowly building relationships and building this community on TikTok have been telling me, that like I just need to get in contact with a producer or someone, and my songs will be, you know, they'll sound much better because I have all the potential. And I know, and I absolutely know that it's true. It's just life, you know. I've been for a year and a half now dealing with this accident, coping with my foot, learning new things about myself, and learning how to live my life since the accident. I know it sounds like, well, I don't know if it sounds dramatic to you or not. Sometimes I feel like it sounds a bit dramatic to me, which is also why I don't really like to talk about my accident and how I'm feeling and how I've been dealing with my foot, is because like I know my accident was bad. It was a major accident because of everything that happened. You know, my fractured wrist, my shattered heel, like the other half of my body, like was just all bruised. You know, it was just all I was just all banged up. My car was totaled and stuff. You know, and I know there are people who've been in worse accidents, and I know worse things have happened to other people. And I think because of that, that's why it's hard for me to continue to talk about how hard it's been dealing with my foot or coping with my foot, is because it's like I know other people have gone through so much worse than what I have. But because of that, I have to allow myself to be like, hey, no, I am allowed to feel like it is a little dramatic, because it wasn't only dramatic, it wasn't dramatic, it was traumatic for me, you know. So like, yeah, it'll probably sound a little dramatic when I talk about it, but it was something that completely changed my life, completely impacted who I am, and completely made me have to be alone with myself and figure out who I am and what I have, you know. And it's been a journey with this foot, and I am grateful that it was nothing more than what it was for my accident. You know, it could have gone much worse, but, you know, I'm grateful for that it wasn't. And I just have to allow myself to feel my feelings and then release my feelings, because, like I always say, it's not good to hold on to feelings that you no longer need, that no longer serve you, which is why I wrote down this as a topic for my podcast, is because I will finally have the time to say all that I have to say about my relationship with my foot, about what it's been like going through this, and so because of this podcast episode, I'm going to finally be able to release these feelings fully, because now it's been said aloud and it's outside of my head, so now it can't bother me anymore, now it's like, now that it's been said, I'm hearing it out loud outside of my head, I'm like, yeah, you're right. I did go through a lot. You did have to do a lot to get to where you are right now, to be here today. But that's okay, because look at you. Look at how far you've come, So you have every right. You have every right to feel sad sometimes. I have every right to be upset with my foot, or to have bad days, because as long as I feel them as bad days and move on from the emotions, then I know I'm okay. Then I know everything, that everything's gonna be okay, that I'm gonna be okay at the end. At the end of the day, what will worry me is when I let the bad days linger on for more than just one day. When I let the bad thoughts about my foot take over. That is when I will truly start to worry, because right now it's like, no, I'm seeing the bad days, but I'm seeing the good days as so much better, as something that, like, it doesn't even bring light to the bad days, because I'm here. I am walking up and down my stairs without shoes, without socks. I am walking on tile. I am walking on concrete. I walk outside. I walk anywhere without shoes. A year ago, I didn't even think that was going to be possible. I never thought, I truly, like, 100% completely being honest here, I didn't think I was going to, like, be walking without a cane for the rest of my life. I truly had no trust in my foot whatsoever. I didn't think I would be walking like a normal person again, because I was so traumatized by what happened, because I was so afraid of of my foot being hurt again, because I wasn't used to because I was like, oh my god, now I have metal in my foot. You know, I had so many things that I had to cope with, that I had to deal with, that it was hard, that it's been hard, you know. But now that it's all been said, I felt a lot better ever since I told my friends about how I felt with my foot and my shoe. That whole situation, because not telling anyone that, like, I've had days where it's been hard for me to put my shoe on because my foot is so swollen, has been hard, because it's been something I've been holding in for quite some time. So when I finally did have the, like, I don't even want to say courage. It was almost like when I almost had like the breakdown of telling my friends how my foot's been making me feel when I try to put it on, you know, and like just how I've been feeling with how my foot doesn't look how like it once was and stuff. It's just like I felt so relieved ever since I told them, because, you know, it's like they listened, they understood, you know, and it was just I just felt so grateful, and it was just so good to finally get it off my chest, you know. And it felt like a weight had, like, I truly like felt like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. Like it was almost like I could breathe easier after I had told them, because it was something that I've been holding back for quite a while, because I'm like, I don't want to have to, like, you know, like complain about it a year and a half later. But at the same time, it's like, it's been a year later, not a year, and it's been a year and a half since the accident. It's been a year since you've been walking again. And that I think is what I have to really remember too, is that I have to remind myself that it's been short. Hasn't been a year and a half. It's just been a year since I've been walking again. So it's like I've progressed greatly. I've progressed very for how fearful I was with my foot and how bad of a relationship and how little trust I had in my foot. I think I've come up, like, I'm far ahead where I should be. You know, I know other people would say otherwise, but for me, how I know myself, for like everything I've been through, I'm like, no, it doesn't matter what everyone else thinks. That if they think, oh, I should be working, or like I should have been like completely healed by now. It's like, maybe for someone else, yeah, but for me, I want to listen to my body. I don't want to rush anything, and for me, it's gonna take a lot of time, because that's just the type of person I am. I have to rebuild this trust in my foot, and it's not easy, you know. I gotta take it one step at a time. But I've come a long way. I have come such a long way, and that's how I'm seeing it here, you know. Is that I'm walking, I drove, I'm going to be driving again soon. I'm going to be working. I'm going to be thriving, you know? I'm doing things are happening. And yeah, that is how I feel about my foot. I think that is all I want to say about my foot for this episode. Only because I'm looking at the time on the clock of where I'm not going to say the time, because it's always never the time that I say. It's never the time. For me, it's a different time from where you're probably going to be listening to it anyways. That's just me stalling. Yeah, I don't want to say much more about my relationship with my foot, because that's kind of all I have to say. Like, I honestly will just constantly I will keep going in circles. It will be the same thing over and over again that I talk about. Anyway, so that's all I have to say about the relationship and what it's been like having to cope with my foot. Aside from that, I've been doing really good. I'm very proud of myself and how far I've come. I'm going back to work. I'm not really excited, but I am excited to see what it's like, to see how many people I can meet. And I think that's about all I have to say. I hope you're doing okay. Whoever's listening to this, you know, I hope you're doing okay. I hope you're taking care of yourself, doing some self-care, showing yourself some love, taking yourself on a date, I hope you're doing something for yourself, you know, like a guilty pleasure of yours, or like just dabbling into a hobby you haven't done in a while, or just picking up a new hobby, you know, like I hope you're doing something for you, something that makes you smile. And if you haven't done that, I challenge you. Ha 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 ha. I challenge you. I challenge you to do something nice for yourself. Something that makes your inner child happy. You know, do something you used to do when you were a kid. Maybe. Or it could be, you know, something you used to do when you were younger. And just give it another whirl. You know, see how good it makes you feel. Just give it a try. And if you feel nothing and you're just like, this feels dumb, this feels stupid, it's like, well, my bad, I wasted some of your time. My apologies. But if not, and it made you feel really good, and you're like, dang, why did I stop doing this? Keep doing it. Don't stop there, like, do it whenever you can. But anyways, yeah, that's my challenge for you, listener out there, is do something your inner child would be happy to do. Make your inner child happy. See how that affects your mood today. Anyways, that's all I have to say for you guys this week. But I hope you guys are doing okay. I hope you're having a great day. So I'm going to say good morning, good evening. Oh, no, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to whoever's listening to this out here. I hope you're having a wonderful day. So until next time, this is T Money saying live your life because you are the only one who gets it. All right, bye.